tree actually has guardians. Did they appear? There you go. For some odd reason, these guys don't like to appear sometimes, but they do sometimes, so that's good. So yeah, so these are the tree guardians, pretty much. So the lore of this tree is that it's like the last living tree of a special type of sapling, pretty much. And because it is the last tree, the tree came up with a defense system that has these organic beings to wander around. So if you have evil intentions of chopping down the tree, these things will attack you. They don't care if you're looking at them or not, they will attack you. And that's kind of what these guys actually end up doing. But they look really cool. I really like them. Although I shouldn't have put them down here because we haven't done anything with 1.21.4. But you know what? I like them. They're really cool. And over here is where I'm gonna have my sniffer area. So here's how you get the sniffer eggs to sort of like hatch faster, kind of thing. And then over here is where you would get your sniffer items, obviously. So, like, when your sniffers are out here doing their business, because mud is one of the blocks that they can actually do. And one of the cool things about mud is that you can have hoppers underneath, and that hopper will actually take those items and will actually dispense them around and shoot them all the way over there, kind of thing. That's what every one of these mud blocks has a hopper that will pretty much try and maneuver its way over here, where it will send it to those two large chests. And that's pretty much what it does. And then over here is a little campsite that will lead you to further underground, which I will get to in a second. And then over here is a little pond. And then over here, nothing really too much else to say over here. Some of these areas, you'll see that they have light. This area in particular has a few dark spots, like as you can see here, and I think over here as well. The reason why these actually have light spots is because I use shroom lights, because I just want the land to be a little bit bright, but not too bright, kind of thing. Even though no enemy mobs can spawn here, like no creepers, no skeletons, no zombies, because first of all, the biome doesn't allow it. But also, in case I accidentally remove the biome, even if it has one to replace it, they still won't spawn. So, yeah. And the cool thing about this entire area as well, so yeah, there's nothing over here except for this tunnel that's over here. Actually, oops. The tunnel system that's over here actually leads you somewhere. So that's going to be pretty cool to look at. And yeah, there's nothing over here, pretty much. And here's one of my first bases in Minecraft. I actually moved it over here. And here's a little waterfall. Then here's the little thing. And then that's where the dining room is. And then that's where the kitchen is. So it comes full circle. Then here's a thing. And here's a little driveway. So like you can move like a car that was like parked here, kind of thing. You can drive it over to this area, which these fences are supposed to technically move up, and then you can like go into here and you can do maintenance on it. Then you can run around. Then you can drive your vehicle back here, and you can park it here or something like that. And it's also supposed to be for spaceships too, so that's pretty cool. And there's some Malays over here. I'll explain why there's some Malays over here. I was mostly just testing around stuff. Okay, so those two varicles, so how they actually work, and I completely forgot about this area. I can fix this. Anyway, so how those two varicles actually work, and how they actually get out, pretty much, is very, very simple. So, look it down here so it's easier to explain. Mind you, going spectator would be making it much easier, but it would kind of spoil things, so let's not get to that. But pretty much, there are these two portals here. There's one back here. We don't need that open. There's the portal that's back here. Just ignore the trapdoors. And there's the one over here. So, when Varkle needs to leave, let's say for lore reasons, I want to take the old one because I like the classic. So what I would do is I would go in there, and then technically we would drive. We would drive it through this portal, which, since this one will start detecting movement, it will turn on this portal, and it will actually send us over to... I'm just going to use this just for simplicity, just to get us over here. There we go. So it'll send us over to here. So we'll go through this portal. So right when Varkle starts going over here, it will start turning on this portal, because obviously we are driving through. Now what happens is that once Varkle is completely passed through, it will start touching these two observer blocks. Which again, these... No, I think this is correct, because it's supposed to be like a laser beam kind of thing. So once once it hits these, this will tell this portal to stay open. Varkle is still, or any vehicle kind of thing, is still going through. So once Varkle is completely passed through, these won't turn off this portal until, let's say, 2 seconds after it has not detected any movement. Whereas this one will actually turn it off. And the same idea with Varkle coming back. Varkle has a button it clicks to turn on the portal, so Varkle goes through. And of course, these two will set off that, oh, Varkle's coming back in, so then this portal will appear. And then once Varkle is missing from here, it'll start hitting to these blocks. I think from that top observer to that top observer, I think that's the total length of Varkle. I can be wrong. It might just be like the block before it kind of thing. But pretty much once Varkle starts going past this portal to appear down there kind of thing, this will sort of like still tell like the portal to stay up, while this one won't detect anymore, so this portal will disappear. But in case you're wondering, what if a different vehicle shows up? Well, that's what technically there's supposed to be some security cameras in here, but I haven't gotten to that point yet. But those security cameras are supposed to actually point and look into what the vehicle is. So, while yes, if a vehicle were to follow Varkle, let's say hauling behind him, and sort of like trying to keep up with it, and let's say Varkle goes past, and let's say these cameras catch that vehicle and go, hey, that's not supposed to be here, it'll actually turn off the portal. And so the car will just be stuck in here kind of thing. And then it will sort of be force ejected out pretty much. Anyway, I think that's it for this entire area over here, until we talk about the little meat and guts of this top area before we go inside pretty much. So each and every one of these levels has a different block that is actually representative of the ground. So the bottom area over here is Podzol. All of it is Podzol. It's either moss or Podzol pretty much. The moss is just for the outside, so it looks like it's a clean area, whereas the inside area is Podzol. So I'll get rid of this block. You'll see Podzol. There we go. Then once you get to a certain stage, I think it's like up to here kind of thing, we will get grass. And then once we reach to a certain stage, I think it's like close to up here, we get mycelium. And that's it. And then at some point I had a sheep spawn in here, and I thought it was really cool because I thought they actually worked. Then I found conflicting evidence where it said like mobs can spawn on moss carpet. It is the only carpet type that mobs will spawn on top of, so I thought, hey, that's amazing. And then nothing would spawn, and I thought that was really confusing. Then I found a different article that told me that mobs don't spawn on moss carpet because it's a carpet. So I was confused. Then, when I came over here, I didn't notice this block, by the way. I came around here, and I saw a sheep spawn, and I'm like, oh my god! So it does spawn on moss carpet kind of thing. So then I look around, and then I found this block. So then once I deleted it, the sheep didn't have a way of spawning, so then I killed it. Then I put the block back, and I have yet to find another one. So, yeah, I kind of ruined that. Anyway, we're going to go back over here so I can show you exactly what is going on over here. So we'll go into my first base. Technically, we can use this dirt path. I thought this was really cool. This is just a smaller version of this, but just looking cool. I just like it. This just looks really nice. And the block palette was my design. I didn't really take inspiration from anybody. I just really liked it. So, yeah. So over here, we're going to ignore that for a second. We're going to go in here. So this is my first base. This is my beta 1.2 base. So this was back when I first ever played Minecraft. So this is the base. I think some of the double doors, I think when I noticed, yeah, some of them are broken. I'll fix them. I know what they were supposed to look like. And even if I don't, I can still go in that world. So it's not that big of a deal. But this is because of Amulet, right? Like Amulet doesn't like doors nearly as much or something like that. It's either a combination of Amulet or it's Amulet and MC Edit doesn't like it. But yeah. I like this area. This was just supposed to display storages. Because I thought that they were going to add it so that like we don't need we can actually put a block above and then we can right click. Nope. That never happened. So yeah, that never happened. And over here is the underwater thing. This was a challenge to put because this actually I have to like start cutting into the area. I think I did a decent job at it, but yeah, this is like not a very good looking thing, but yeah. That's pretty much it. And then over here is the original bed that I made. Very cool. This is untouched, by the way. I'll only touch the doors, but that's just because like this doesn't look good. Yeah. My first note block, and then some more chests and stuff like that. Yay. Alright, now we're gonna go and take a look at... That's right, I gotta leave through the wind door that's over here. Oh, this is the only one. This is the only part that you'll actually see grass on the outside as well as dirt. So you'll probably notice, though, that there is no dirt on the outside anymore. It's all mud blocks. Is it... Wait, is it mud blocks or mud brick? Packed mud. So it's all packed mud. That's by design, and it looks like some of them have not changed. Or I completely forgot about that. I will fix that. Either that, or when I was building when I was putting in the terrain of the inside area over here, I didn't properly go through it. So yeah, so here's the inside, and this is actually different from what I actually originally had. So obviously the block palette is way different though, but this was actually the area in which that I was actually going to go through and put light blocks around to create an ambiance of the inside kind of thing. Then I found out that you can actually create a natural ambient lighting. It doesn't affect light levels. It just makes it so you can actually see in the inside. So pretty much you can actually see inside the cave instead of having a dark area. So yeah, so instead of me having like a very dark area where you go, wow, I can't even see like the hand that's in front of my face kind of thing, you can now see. Even though there's like low berries though, you still couldn't see in there. And then obviously all the pillars are now polished basalt, which looks really cool. I like it. And then over here, I'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, so obviously this is like where the storage room is. There's nothing really too special about it. If you've seen Arcanix's storage room, it's the same. And then obviously this is where the varicles are. Very cool. Over here is, I think this is where the room is. I think the room that I'm going to turn into leads you into the underground area. I think that's where that is. Either that or it's below here, which there are two ways you can go. You can either jump down. I think there's a water placement. No, there's not a water placement. Or you can use this scaffolding, which is over here. Obviously, I would recommend the scaffolding. So you'll end up over here. And there's a cool lava pool over here, which burned down all the tall grass that ended up growing here. That's wonderful. And then over here, we have 2 amethyst farms. So these 2 are supposed to be for just for you to be able to actually go and get like amethyst for personal usage. So let's say you want to make a spyglass. These are the amethysts you would use. Although there is another farm over here, which its main sort of task, I guess you could call it, is mainly just so that like you can breed this allay, so you can duplicate it, so that it will actually be able to get more allays, and that's what that one's goal is. And also over here we have like a giant pool area. There was a lot of axolotls here a few days ago, and I actually kind of liked it. And over here is the geode that I originally had in Sancturia, which was like connected to that top area over there. And this was actually pretty cool. I liked it. And then, if we go back here, this leads you further down into the tunnel system, which we will go to later. There's a few tunnels here. So majority of this terrain, if you do not know, some of it might look familiar, but other ones might not. If you've ever